let's get into positioning. The first thing, remember I'll call it Professor Ken's secret sauce. It was the why. The what what is your product? What is your differentiation? How are you making your product different? And to do that, you have to create, you have to fill a need first, or you have to solve a problem. What problem are you solving? What need are you filling? And part of that solution is creating that USP, the unique selling proposition, or in some cases, it's called the UVP, which is the unique value proposition, really the same thing. In today's environment, we call it UVP. In previous environments, we called it USP. So they change one letter and it's still the same thing, okay? So once you know what your unique selling proposition, which is the differentiating factor, you have to figure out what your position is in the marketplace. So what is positioning again? So you want where you put the product against your competitors, but more importantly, where does it sit in the consumer's mind, right? So your positioning dictates to the consumer, creates that perception and the reality of what your product's all about. For example, if I say Mercedes-Benz, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A car, and what type of car? A fancy luxury car, right? Because why? Because we know that a Mercedes-Benz is positioned in the high quality, high price realm, right? Opposite of that, if I say Hyundai, what do you think about?
Car.
You think about a car, and what type of car?
Affordable.
Affordable economic car. So they would be opposite of Mercedes. Okay, so it's a position. That's what position is. How the consumer perceives you in the marketplace. There's an expression that perception is reality. So if you tell your consumer that this is who we are, but yet they perceive you to be different, then you have to figure out how to make that a reality. And it's hard. Once the perception is ingrained in a consumer's mind, it's hard to get them to change, right? To really make a change in their mind. So let's take another example. Everybody flies here, right? Although maybe we're not flying at the moment, but the fares are pretty cheap. If you fly and you take Spirit Airlines, what's the perception of Spirit Airlines? It's not good, but from a price and quality position, where are they?
You get what you pay for.
Right, you do get what you pay for. That's a true statement. But they're lower quality, although the quality is probably more in the middle, but they're definitely lower price. But because they're lower price, their service might not be as good, right? And their delivery might not be good. Their reliability, accountability might not be good. But you know what? They know who they are. That's who they say they are, right? They don't tell you, hey, if you come to Spirit, you're going to get a cheap ticket and we're the best airline in the world. You're going to get the best service in the world. They don't say that. They say we're economic, affordable, and you have to, pay for extra things like baggage and things like that. But the consumers know who they are because in the mind of the consumer, the position is who they expect to be. So there's no surprises, right? If you get a ticket from Spirit Airlines and you get on the plane, you shouldn't be surprised that the service is not what you expect it to be, because you should expect it not to be so good because you get what you pay for and that's their position. So opposite of that, if you flew a private jet, right? I know one's commercial and one's private. What would you expect on a private jet? The luxury service, a complete opposite. Now you're paying, 100 times more, whatever the factor is, but you would expect complete different service. So that's positioning in the marketplace, in the mind of the consumer. Okay. So if you think about positioning, what does that look like on a sort of like on a grid, on a chart, right? I'm going to erase this. So if we put quality down here and we put price over here, and we sort of break that up into 4 quadrants, right? So down here would be low price, low quality. Right? That would be over here, low price, low quality, the very corner of that. So it's the cheapest price, the lowest quality. Opposite of that would be, right, way up here, which would be the highest price, highest quality. Everybody sees that, right? Now you can have, notice you have 2 other corners. So over here, believe it or not, you can have high price and low quality. Or opposite of that, you can have high quality and low price, right? So everybody sees those are the 4 extreme positions. So when you develop a product or a service, you really should consider where you are positioning in the marketplace. So let's say you have 4 competitors in the marketplace, and you have competitor 1 here, competitor 2 is here, competitor 3 is over here, and competitor 4 is over there, right? If you have 4 competitors and you have a product, where would you position your product? How would you come up with an idea to position your product?
Should I get close to the bottom right one?
Okay, you want to get close to here. Bottom right, over here. So you want to be low price, high quality.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say, we're going to say M for me, M1. Does anybody else have a different preference? Where would you put your product? What do you think, Dan?
High price, high quality.
High price, high quality, okay. M2, anybody else have a different opinion? If you had a choice and you evaluated the market, where would you put your product? What's that?
High quality.
High quality over here, in this corner, high price, high quality? Okay, good. So all your answers are great, by the way, because I really love the fact that you're thinking this way. Why? Because you're picking a zone. Now, you could have told me, I want to be here, right? You could have said that. Why do you think that would be the wrong decision?
Because it's the average and it's not calling the attention of.
That you're exactly right, because it's the average, or there's an expression we call stuck in the middle. So if you're in the middle here, right, think about this as a game. If you're in the middle and you have 4 people in the corners, what do you think will happen to you?
You stand out.
Well, not only would you stand out, but if they come in to attack you, you're going to get crushed like a bug, right? Like a cockroach, you're going to get crushed. And you can't defend yourself. But if you do defend yourself, how many corners do you have to defend? 4. Think of any military campaign that had to defend 4 aggressive positions. It's crazy, right? That's 4 fronts. Can you survive?
No.
Can you survive like that? I mean, I'm not a military expert, but I think you have very little odds of succeeding there if you're by yourself and you have 4 fronts to defend. So as a marketer, you have to think about that. And if you're starting from scratch, don't say, oh my God, this guy is $1. This guy is $2. I want to be $1.50. You're not helping yourself. You should try to, find out how you could be in this corner or in that corner, but if you're in the middle, it'll be very difficult. Now you could move a little left, you could move a little right, you could do that too, but you have to be as far away from that center, that average center as possible. Think about that, right? Because if you're a consumer, we're all consumers here. If you have 3 choices, inexpensive, middle expensive, or high expensive, which one are you picking? High expense, or middle, or inexpensive, right? How many times do you pick the one in the middle? Not a lot, because you have to there's value over opportunity cost. If it's only a 50 cents difference, or it's even a $10 difference, or let's say you're buying a TV, this TV's $300, this TV's $400, and this TV's $350. Are you really going to think about the $350 TV? Probably not. You're probably going to say, well, 300 is a good deal. Let me compare it against the best. I get this, I get that, I don't get this, I don't get that. You know what? I think I'm going to spend the extra $100 and get the better TV. They're never going to say, you know what, I'm going to take the one in the middle, right? That's not the way it works. So that's the concept of positioning, and that's what you have to think about when you lay things out.